In the quiet of the mountains, time slows down. Distractions fade, and what's left is the work. For 1 week, Brendan and I left the noise behind and settled into a small, warm house in the Blue Mountains. Just the two of us, a pair of laptops, and the game we've been building for over a year. No meetings, no commute, just the simple rhythm of making things, fixing things, redefining what Grovekeeper could be. We rebuilt combat from the ground up. We gave the game a voice. We listened to the feedback and redesigned the UI to match the vision we have always had in our heads. This is a story about focus, about returning to the roots of a project, about two friends in a forest trying to make something beautiful. One of the main things we tried to improve upon was the ragdoll system, and to say we had some problems with this system would be an understatement. Previously, in earlier versions of the game, we were using Unity's inbuilt ragdoll system, and while the system's pretty robust out of the box, it has some limitations. What we were doing previously is when a character would die or get launched into the air, is we'd destroy that game object and instantiate a new ragdoll game object. This made things simple in that if you want to turn on a ragdoll during runtime with the legacy system, you'd have to find all the child objects of the character's rig, locate their colliders and rigid bodies and turn them on or off. The results were unreliable. We just created a purpose-built prefab of the ragdoll and applied various forces to it to simulate the effect. It worked pretty well, but there was this awkward stutter or jump when the transition happened. So we decided to upgrade to a more advanced system, and the system we chose was a package by Fimpossible Creations called Ragdoll Animator 2. The package is awesome, and it works really well, but there's a small learning curve in terms of getting it to fit our specific needs. It's easy to set up and will do a lot of the work for you with a humanoid rig, with a few small adjustments here and there to the collider sizes and the rotation limits of the joints. And it has dynamic animation blending, which is a great addition. So now our units have a ragdoll running at all times, meaning that they can dynamically react to various colliders in the world and add a sense of realism. When they die, we can adjust the animation mode to create a satisfying death animation. So while we might have pulled some hair out in terms of getting this to work in our project, the results are coming along really well, and we're probably about 95% of the way there. The last time we retreated to the mountains, we did a complete UI overhaul, and this time we did it again. This is the 5th major iteration of Grovekeeper's interface. Each version has brought us closer to something refined, cohesive and professional. This time I began by drawing out complete concept art. Every single screen that a player might see, the title screen, the level select, upgrades menu, settings, in-game panels. This process didn't just define the look, it helped us shape the function. It forced us to think deeply about player communication, clarity and flow. We also layered polish on top of these new assets using Unity's timeline sequencer, improving transitions and tightening the overall experience. If you enjoy these kinds of devlogs or want to follow along as Grovekeeper evolves, hit the like button and subscribe. It helps us a lot and keeps us motivated to keep sharing these updates. Grovekeeper, at its heart, is a game about trees. Now that might sound obvious, but it's easy to forget when we're deep in AI code and combat mechanics. Trees are the soul of the game. At the end of each wave, if your trees survive, you earn Magen, a magical currency used for upgrades and purchasing units. So far we've only had one tree type, the spruce. Its yield depends on spacing. Clustered trees are easier to defend but generate less Magen. Spread them out, you'll earn more but at a greater risk. This week we add 2 more. The ash tree. This offers a high flat Magen rate, but when destroyed, it explodes, damaging both enemies and your own grove. Great for perimeter defense. We've also added the willow tree. So it generates a lot of Magen, but only if it's placed near water. So you get a strong reward that demands risky placement, forcing the player to spread their grove out. That last point, water proximity, presented a new challenge. The water in Grovekeeper is just a flat plane with a shader on it. So we couldn't just check a tree's distance from the center of the lake object. It made no spatial sense, so I built a river spline tool. With this we can define rivers and lakes using spline points that wrap along the terrain. It allows trees to accurately detect proximity to water and also dynamically carves out holes in the nav mesh, so our units can path around intelligently. It's one of those tools that solves 5 problems at once, and honestly I'm really proud of how it turned out. Next we tackled the camera. So originally Grovekeeper had a fixed top-down view with basic rotation around the Y-axis. It got the job done, but it was rigid, flat. You never felt like you were really there. Now we've added full pitch control, so you can tilt the camera, zoom down to ground level and sweep across the battlefield. Suddenly you're not looking at the game, you're in it. It's a subtle change with a massive impact on how you experience the world. But opening up the view meant that we needed to make the world prettier too. So we've added dynamic procedural skyboxes, seeing as though now you're going to see it. They're synced with the game's day-night cycle. As waves progress, the sun moves, clouds drift and light gradually shifts from warm gold to icy blue. The world breathes with the rhythm of the game loop now. We've added wind directionality that affects the tree and grass sway, that goes in the same direction as the clouds. The forest feels less like a backdrop and more like a living space. And then the final touch is the kill cam. At the end of each wave, when the last enemy falls, time slows down and the camera elegantly rotates around the final blow. It's a small dramatic moment, but it gives weight to your victories. It feels rewarding. Special abilities also got a big rework. There's an excellent essay by game designer Raf Costa, the author of A Theory of Fun, called An Atomic Theory of Fun Game Design, and in it he writes, "Bad choices should lead to failure in the encounter. This skill can be of any sort really, resource management during the encounter, failures in timing, failures in physical dexterity, failures to monitor all the variables that are in motion." The argument is that for a special ability in a game to be fun, it should require a level of skill on the player's part to effectively use. Take the fire ability. So this is an ability that would just blow anything up when you clicked on it. A panic button. It worked, but there was no tension, no satisfaction. So we changed it. Now instead of an instant explosion, a meteor falls from the sky with a brief delay. You see its shadow, hear the whistling descent, and if you time it right, it hits hard. Miss the timing, it hits nothing. It's more fun because it demands more of you. We also introduced a brand new power, the Kelpie. In Gaelic folklore, Kelpies are shape-shifting water horses that lure people to their doom. In Grovekeeper, the player can summon one from any nearby body of water. A huge spout erupts from the surface and the Kelpie charges out, trampling through enemies in its path. It's visually interesting, strategically useful, and like all good abilities, feels great when it lands just right. This wasn't a holiday for us, it was headspace. The kind where you finally get to lose yourself in the work and remember why you started in the first place. Being up in the mountains gave us the breathing room to fix what needed fixing, add what was missing, and polish the things we'd been meaning to for months. Grovekeeper came out this week stronger, and honestly, so did we. If you've enjoyed following along or want to support the game, the best thing you can do is wishlist Grovekeeper on Steam. It helps more than you might think, and it lets us know you're out there. And if you'd like to see more devlogs like this, feel free to subscribe, leave a comment, or just say hi. Thanks for watching, look after yourselves, and we'll see you in the next one.